Hey guys, welcome back. It's Leanne, the Kiwi Yogi. Today we're doing something a little different and working on strength in the legs. So grab your mat, grab some props. You may need some blocks and we'll get started.
We wanna be a little stronger.
All right, getting started on the mat. We're just going to step to the front. So just think power through the legs. Before we begin, we're going to take a nice calming, grounding Tadasana. So Tadasana is mountain pose. So basically from a front-on version of, front-on view of this, it is grounding through the feet. Maybe the big toes touch, the heels are apart, arms alongside the body. And then just grounding through the feet. Feel the legs start to activate and you'll feel the front of the legs pull up as you press through the heels, and then maybe just soften the shoulders down, the sides of the waist are firm, and the head just atop of the neck. So this is our nice firm Tadasana, grounding down at the front of your mat. Start to breathe into the belly as you come into your practice. Maybe you're feeling a little wobbly. If you close down your eyes, just notice how the breath is moving in your body. Notice the body swaying, trying to balance and regulate. It's okay because we're going to turn on the power using the breath. So your inhale is to draw the energy and the power in, and your exhale is to let the resistance out. Okay, so grounding down through the feet, inhale the power, in through the feet, feel the length through the spine, squeeze the legs on, start to activate the muscles, all the muscles in the legs. As you exhale, release the shoulders, soften the neck, and fingers come down. Take one more of those. Inhale. Exhale. On your inhale, you're going to float your hands to the sky. Now reach out through the fingers. The hands are shoulder width apart, palms facing in. And squeezing, lengthening, tucking the tailbone under and lifting the heart up. And as you exhale, take the palms to touch, and we're going to fold forward, hinging from the hips. We're going to fold over the legs into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Now from here, it may be with bent knees, and you're taking the belly towards the thighs and letting the head hang down. Otherwise, you're starting to work to straighten through the legs, lifting the hips up and folding over, taking the chin towards your shin. Let the weight of the head go. And a full exhale out. Let's bend your knees, press out through the feet, gonna rise on up, nice and slow. Reach the hands up. Exhale, come down through your heart center. Again, inhale, float the hands up. Feel the power draw in through the legs. Exhale, folding forward, hinging from the hips. Taking that forward fold. This time come into a halfway lift. So fingers to the floor or hands to the shins or knees. Lengthen the crown of head forward. Exhale, fold over the legs and rounding down. Bend through the knees, pressing through the feet, gonna rise on up. Nice and slow. Reach the hands up. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Let's move that a little more. Inhale, gather the energy up. Reach up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging from the hips, folding over the legs. Take your halfway lift. Nice flat back, draw the belly button in. Exhale, fold over once more. We've got one more lift here, so pressing through the feet, rising on up. Reach the hands up. Exhale, reach hands to heart center. This time sweep the hands wide, reach them up. Keep the hands shoulder width apart and just allow the shoulder blades to travel down the ribs. Take your feet a little wider if they feel too close together. We're going to come into Uttanasana, chair pose. So chair pose is starting to really activate the legs. So we're going to start to press through the heels, make the toes nice and light, start to bend through the knees and sit your bottom back behind the heels. So don't worry if you can't come down nice and low. That's not the point. We want to tuck the tailbone under, keep the spine long, and sit down into the seat. Keep the arms lifted, the heart open. Taking a full breath in, sit down into your seat, Uttanasana. Make sure the knees are nice and level, not one knee coming forward at the other. One more breath. Exhale, fold over. Surrendering into your forward fold. Come into your halfway lift, flat back. Surrendering over, exhale. Bend through the knees and rising on up, nice and slow. Reaching the hands up and overhead. Hands to heart center. We're going to take that one more time. So inhale, reach the hands up. Palms facing in, hands shoulder width apart. And then from here, grounding down through the feet. Start to bend your knees, tuck your tailbone under and lengthen the spine down, sitting into Utkatasana, chair pose. Watch those knees so the knees aren't splaying forward, hips aren't unleveling. Staying nice and low, heart open, full breath in. And then from here, you're going to shift the weight into the right foot, step the left leg back into a crescent lunge. So if this is too much for you, up high, you can always come down onto the back knee, but otherwise just walking that left foot back, hands lifting up, bending through the front knee. Breathing there. Nice, exhale, release the hands either side of the front foot and release the back knee to the ground. Sit down through the hips. Maybe taking the option of taking the blocks to either side of your front foot, lifting and opening through the chest. Full breath in. Otherwise, blocks off to the side of the front and exhale, sink down into the hips. One more breath. Exhale, lower the hips down. And now from here, you're going to squeeze that back leg, press the top of the foot to the floor, and just lift the knee up. Full breath in. Exhale, release the knee down. Again, inhale, squeeze the leg, just lift the knee, top of foot pressing down, making sure it's okay for your ankle. Exhale, release it down. One more of those. Squeeze through the leg, maybe come a little high if you need to. Squeeze the leg. Lowering back down. From here, tuck your toes, press out through the hands, lift the hips high, and step the left foot to meet the right, fold over the legs. Take a full breath in. Long exhale out. Bend through the knees, rise on up, all the way to standing, palms touch. Exhale, release, hands to heart center. Let's come to the other side. Inhale, reach the hands up, palms face in, hands shoulder width apart. And then from here, start to sit down into your Utkatasana, chair pose. Bending through the knees, sit down through the hips, lengthening the tailbone under. So feel that tuck through the pelvis, tilting through the pelvis. And then shifting the weight into the left foot, you're going to step the right foot back. So right foot steps back into your crescent lunge, sitting down through the hips. Full breath in, long exhale out. Keep squeezing the back leg, pressing through the back heel. Nice, exhale, release the hands either side of the front foot and release your back knee to the ground. So from here, just sitting down through the hips, maybe taking the blocks underneath the hands, sitting down. Full breath in, long exhale out. Taking your variation of what we just did on the other side. So pressing the top of the foot down to the floor. You're going to squeeze the leg, lift the knee up off the ground, keep the hips nice and low. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down. One more lift here. Keep the hips low, squeeze the leg, come up. Exhale, lowering down. From here, tuck your toes. Step the right foot to meet the left, and you're going to fold over the legs. Full breath in, long exhale out. So from here, we're just going to wrap the arms around the back of the legs, taking hold of opposite elbow. Start to squeeze the legs, lift the hips high, and take the forehead towards the knees. So lengthening through the back of the hamstrings, drawing the belly in, let the head hang down. One more breath. Full exhale out. Release your hands, take your fingertips to the floor, bend your knees and slowly rise on up, all the way to standing. Working up some heat already, hands to heart center. Nice, from here, reach the arms wide, reach them up, palms touch, exhale, fold forward, hinging from your hips. Taking the fingers to the floor, come into a forward fold, inhale, halfway lift. And then from here, you're gonna step the left foot back into your lunge. So nice low lunge here, breathing deep. Going to come into a bit of a twist. So getting a little deeper through the hips, take your left hand to the floor or hand to the block. Going to inhale, take your right hand up toward the sky. Keep the hips nice and low. Keep squeezing that back leg. Full breath in. Long exhales out. Release your right arm down to the floor. Pop your left block off the mat. And then from here, you're going to press back into your down face dog. So down face dog, the hands are shoulder width apart, the feet hip width apart, and the toes facing forward. So grounding down through your mat. So bend your knees if they're quite tight, and you'll notice the heels come up off the floor. That's okay. They don't need to reach the floor today. But you're pressing through the hands, shifting the weight like energy traveling up toward the hips. So a nice long, active spine. And then slowly bending one knee, take the opposite heel down toward the floor. Take a full breath in. Really walking out your dog as you exhale it out. Soften both heels down when you're ready. Squeeze the legs on. You're creating that upside down V shape. Nice, and then from here you're going to take your right leg toward the sky, three-legged dog, lift the leg high, and then curl the knee towards the chest. And you're going to hug it in towards the chest as you step the foot forward to the front of your mat. So front of the mat, take your back foot onto a 45-degree angle. I'm going to rise on up into Warrior 2. So variable adjustment 2, pressing out through the front foot, rising, find length through the spine. So just check in with the feet. So you want the front heel in line with the inner arch of the back foot. Finding your wings, you're lengthening through your arms. So to bend through the front knee and sit down through the hip. So breathing into the hips. So you may feel it through the legs here, you may feel it through the hips, but just check in with that front knee so it's not collapsing in. You want to use the muscles in the leg by squeezing the heel and the ankle in toward the center of your mat. You're going to draw the knee a little wider in line with the hip. Take a full breath in. Long exhale out. One more breath. And then from here, come to a side angle. So we're going to reach the arms forward. You're going to take your elbow to the top of your thigh and sweep your left hand forward. Nice. Breathing there. Lengthen the top side of the body. Keep bending through the knee on the front foot as you sit the hips down. Gazing out up toward the ceiling if it's okay for the neck, or looking down toward the floor. Try to keep the bottom shoulder away from your right ear. Keep breathing deeply. Full breath in. Long exhale out. Nice. On here, we're going to rise on up with the inhale. Straighten through the front leg. Nice. And then from here, going to flip the palms to touch. Palms touch above the head. Come back down, Warrior 2. Nice. Sitting down into your seat a little more. Let's find our Trikonasana on this side. So you're going to straighten through the front leg, shift the hips toward the back of your mat, reach forward with your right hand. Now depending on your flexibility, you may need your block to the inside of your shin, your flexibility reaching forward, and maybe taking the hand to the thigh, the shin, or maybe your block. Make sure that the block is directly beneath your shoulder and start to turn your body open toward the left as you extend the left hand toward the sky. Nice. Now keep squeezing the inner heels in towards each other. So heels come towards each other. So you're trying to pull the legs in as they ground down to the floor. Gazing up toward the top hand if it's okay for the neck. Full breath in. Long exhale out. One more breath. Nice. As you exhale, you're going to release the left hand. Remove your block off to the side and pivot the back toes to face forward. Nice. And then walking your right foot out a little wider. You might even want to hop that left foot in slightly and turn the hips to face the front of your mat. Keep the back heel lifted and start to maybe soften through the right knee so it's not locked out, and you're going to fold towards the right knee. Keep the hands underneath the shoulders, maybe fingertips to the floor, blocks beneath your hand, or hands to the floor. Full breath in. Long exhale out. Nice. Slowly start to lift the head. And you're going to walk your hands around to the center of your mat. So you're going to take the toes to the long side of your mat and take your heels slightly out and your toes slightly in. You can tell that we're getting a little warm here, so we're going to start to open the body a little more. So torso in line with the floor if you can, or maybe come up a little higher if it's too much. But ultimately we want to keep the torso parallel, and then on your exhale, keep grounding through the heels. Start to bend your elbows and let the crown of the head come toward the floor. You're going to walk your hands in underneath the shoulders so the crown of the head can come down toward the floor. Don't worry if it doesn't come all the way. shift the weight into the balls of the feet, playing with the weight through the feet. Try to keep the toes light, lifting the hips up and feeling the hamstrings lengthen out. Take a full breath in, keep drawing the elbows in towards each other. Smooth exhale. From here, take your hands to the outside of your ankles if you want to go a little further, and then draw your elbows up toward the sky as you use your biceps to pull yourself a little further forward. Let the head hang down, soften through the neck. One more breath. Exhale, release the hands, walk your hands forward. Come into your halfway lift, and then you're going to walk over to the back side of your mat. So you're coming over to the left side now. We're going to come into our warrior two on this side. So just check in with that back foot. We're going to take it onto a 45-degree angle and your front foot to the center of your mat. And then when you're ready, you're going to press out through the front foot. You're going to rise on up, making sure you've got a good space between the legs. Start to bend through the front knee and sit down through the hips. Nice. Feeling through the legs, hands in line with the shoulders. Gazing out over the front middle finger. Feel the hips open up, squeeze the front inner heel to the center of your mat. Sit down a little deeper. Draw the belly in, tuck the tailbone under. So you'll notice that I'm not leaning forward with the torso. I want to be shoulders over top of the hips, and so lean the weight back a little if you need to. One more breath, legs are starting to work. And then from here, you're going to take your left elbow to the top of the thigh and inhale, take your right hand toward the front or the back of your mat, the other side now. So feeling length through the side of the waist, keep bending through the knee and sitting down through the hip. Gazing up toward the sky if you like. Breathing inside the ribs. Try to keep the bottom shoulder away from the ear. One more breath. Full exhale out. Inhale, rising on up, using the core strength here. Straighten through the leg. All right, so we're coming into Trikonasana on the other side. So grabbing your block, if you haven't already, and you're going to pop it to the inside of your left shin, ankle, or foot. So from here, take the hips and just tuck them under and point them towards the back of your mat. You're going to reach forward with the left hand, and then hip pivoting only with the arm, so you can see the lines of my body. The legs stay as they are. You're just going to release the front hand to the inside of your shin to your block, wherever it wants to go, maybe the shin. And then from here, you're going to take your right hand and peel it up towards the sky. So breathing, keep squeezing the heels in towards each other, lengthening through side of waist. Trying to really draw that left hip forward slightly and draw the right side of waist open. So feeling the stretch through that hip, inner groin. Full breath in. Long exhale out. One more breath. Nice. Exhale, gaze down to the floor. Release your right hand down. Pop your block off to the side if that's where you are. Turn your back toes to face forward. Just gently walk your left foot out a little and hop your right toes in slightly. So as the toes both face forward, your feet are about hip-width apart. So like you're on railway tracks. So take them a little wider. And then from here, you're going to lift your back heel, round your spine, and then fold over toward the left shin. Rounding, releasing, surrendering over, let everything go. Full breath in, long exhale out. One more breath, let it go. When you're ready, just gently lifting your head, coming up halfway, and then bending through the front knee slightly, walk your hands back to center. So as we were before, taking your feet wide, take the heels slightly out and the toes slightly in. So keeping the spine nice and long. And then from here, bending the elbows, lowering down. Taking the hands beneath the shoulders and starting to shift the weight into the balls of the feet. Taking the hips nice and high. Full breath in. Long exhale out. Two more breaths, taking your option. Maybe you want to take a little bind. We're going to take the hands behind the lower back, interlace the fingers and press the palms together. Squeeze your elbows in towards each other and shoulder blades in towards each other. From here, start to straighten through the arms, extend the knuckles toward the sky. And as you exhale, start to draw the heels of the hands away from the body, up and overhead. Take a full breath in. Wherever it is, keep squeezing the palms in towards each other. Keep the chest open. Last exhale. Releasing your hands on your next inhale. Nice. And then from here, coming to your halfway lift. You're going to walk the feet in. Just heel toe the feet in, back to center. And taking the feet hip width apart, we're just going to fold over the mat. So just like we were at the start in Uttanasana, standing forward fold, just releasing through the legs. Full breath in, long exhale out. Bend through the knees and you're slowly going to rise on up, nice and slow. All right, we're going to have a little play into some balance here. Okay, so strength in the legs really comes from the floor up, but it's also coming from the power in your mind. So we'll have a little play with Vrksasana, tree pose, which is an all-time favorite and my kids absolutely love it. So just take your feet hip width apart, toes to face forward. Take your hands to your hips when you're ready. And then when you're ready, you're just gonna have a little play, shifting the weight from left to right. Now I like to take this time here to focus on a drishti. Now that is a point where you can have a soft gaze looking forward, where you can maintain your eye gaze. So it's just one spot in front of you, maybe not the screen, maybe looking out to the wall or out in the distance, not too far away, where you can have a soft gaze. And once you have that drishti, then you're going to ground down through one leg. Doesn't matter which one you start with. And you're going to take the opposite heel to the inside of your ankle bone. You're going to externally rotate that knee out, opening it out to the side. Try to keep the hips facing forward and just have a feel here for your balance, okay? So feeling the grounding down through the feet. Just keep that leg strong. Try not to just collapse through the hip. Tuck the tailbone under slightly and squeeze the buttocks on. Nice, either staying here with the option of foot to the floor, or maybe you want to slide the sole of the foot to the inside of the calf, below the knee. Keep that knee externally rotated, staying there. Full breath in, long exhale out. Maybe you want to take it a little further and reach down with your right hand or your hand on the same leg and take hold of the ankle and draw it into the thigh. As you notice, I'm pressing thigh into the foot and foot into the thigh. This is going to give that opposing energy to help keep some stability. Hands on the hips, beginning there, breathing there. Maybe taking your hands to heart center if that's where you want to go. Remember, you can always go back down the level and take it to where you need to be. Take a full breath in, long exhale out. Nice, so either staying there or maybe you want to extend the fingers toward the sky. As you exhale, bend your elbows wide and you're going to have the heels of the hands just hover above the crown of the head. Take a full breath in, keep the elbows drawing wide, opening up through the heart. Feel that bottom ankle negotiate, wobble and shake. Don't worry if you fall out, you can simply come back in. 2 more breaths. Keep opening through the heart, grounding down through that bottom leg. And then when you're ready, you're going to inhale, reach the hands up, soften the arms wide, take the hands to the hips, and then releasing that foot, you're going to hug the knee in towards the chest. Taking the hands to hold the shin, draw it up and in. So a little higher, draw it up and in, and release. Now shake out the legs. So we are going to come onto the other side. So grounding down through your feet, again focusing on that drishti that works for you. Hands to the hips. Shift the weight into the other side now, and you're going to take the opposite heel to the inside of the ankle bone. So have that external rotation of the knee coming out and open. And taking the same option you did on the other side. So if you had the foot to the floor or foot to the inside of the calf below the knee or up into the thigh. So you're avoiding the knee, so your foot should never be on the knee, pressing it sideways. Knees go forward and back, not sideways. So finding your position here, pressing the foot in, Squeezing and grounding down through that bottom ankle and leg. Feel the foundations grounding down, and either staying there or taking your hands to your heart center. Relax the shoulders and soften the face. Focusing on your drishti. Maybe staying there, or maybe you want to take your hands up and overhead as you did before. Keep the palms pressing together, elbows come wide, and you're hovering the heels of the hands just above the crown of the head. Keep opening through your tree, breathing deep. Take a full breath in. Long exhales out. Keep drawing the elbows wide, hearts open. Feel that ankle negotiate, wobble and shake. One more breath. When you're ready, float your hands up. Exhale, release your arms wide. And then releasing that foot, you're going to hug the knee in towards the chest. Hug it up and in as close to the chest as you can. And release. Shake out the legs. How are the legs feeling? Feeling pretty good? We are going to have a further play with the balance now. So we're going to come to the back of the mat. And from here, we're going to have a little play with Virabhadrasana 3. So like an aeroplane. And you might even want to pop a block at the front of your mat. Starting at the back of your mat, feet hip width apart. And then from here, hands to the hips, gazing forward. You're going to step the right foot forward to the center of your mat. Okay? And then from here, keep a slight bend through the knee. And keeping the left toes gently to the floor, you're going to start to tilt from the pelvis. Keep the spine long, squeeze the left buttocks and start to open up. So coming into a capital T shape. So squeezing that left buttocks, lifting and lengthening. Hands to the hips if you want, or maybe extending your fingers back behind you. Try to keep that left hip facing down toward the floor. Spine is long, full breath in. Long exhale out. Stay with me, one more breath. Lift that leg a little higher. Exhale, release the fingers down. Keep the left leg lifting. A little half split here as you let the head hang down. Don't worry, my leg doesn't go overly high either. And then exhale, release. You're going to take your left foot behind your right. Come up onto the balls of the feet. And then as the toes come down, I want you to take your heels down. Start to walk the left toes up toward the front of your mat until the heels can no longer lift. So you don't want your heels lifted. So if you need to back it off, walk that foot back further. Otherwise, you're just working to line up the little toes. So little toes lining up. Take a halfway lift. Maybe take your block out in front. So you may feel it through the outside of your IT bands here. And then when you're ready, you're just going to release and you're going to fold over the legs. Try to keep the hips even, facing toward the front of your mat. I know you're going to be feeling this on the outside of your hips. I feel it. So shift the weight forward into the balls of the feet and shift it back into the heels. Have a little play here of how it feels for you. Surrendering over. Now, strong legs come from being open, being able to actually work them in all directions and not being restricted. So we're taking some of that restriction away by giving them a good stretch. One more breath. Nice. Exhale, slowly release that left foot. Taking big toes to touch and folding over the legs. Nice. Bend the knees. Gonna rise on up all the way to standing. Palms touch. Exhale, release hands to heart center. Step to the back of your mat and we're going to take it on the other side. So from the other side, I'm going to step from the back of my mat. I'm going to step forward to the center of your mat with my left leg. Remembering to have the block there at the front if you need it. And then from here, keeping the hips shifting toward the front of your mat, facing forward, you're going to start to shift the weight into the left leg, bending through the left knee. So keep the back toes nice and light as you start to squeeze the right buttocks and you start to lift the leg up off the floor. Try to keep the hips facing down and lifting high. So wherever you are, now that left leg might be straight, it might be bent. Wherever it is, just start to work on strengthening it by straightening it out a little more. Don't worry if it doesn't straighten. Nice. From there, start to lengthen the arms back. Lift a little higher. Finding your breath. Drawing it all the way to the belly. Squeeze that back leg a little higher. One more breath. We're shaking, we're moving. And exhale, release, fingers to the floor. Keep that back leg lifting high. Breathing deep. One more breath. And then exhale, bend the left knee as you take the right leg behind the left. And we start to line up little toes. So the heels might not line up and the toes might not line up, but we want to take the block beneath us, come into a halfway lift, nice flat back. And then as you ground down through the feet, heels pressing down, we're going to fold over the legs, maybe fingertips to the floor, hands to the blocks, and we're surrendering over. Keep drawing the front of the right hip forward, left hip back. Keep pressing through the feet. Let the head fully go. Smooth breath in, rocking forward and back through the feet. Really noticing how this is for you. Just 2 more breaths. Finding stillness for the final few breaths. And releasing out. After your final exhale, slowly inhale, lifting your head, come halfway, and then bending the knees, release your right foot. Big toes to touch, heels slightly apart, and fold over the legs once more. Bend through the knees, pressing out through the feet, rising on up, all the way to standing, palms touch. Exhale, release hands to your heart center, close down your eyes. Feeling the power through your legs, and the openness in your heart. Nice, take a full breath in. Long exhale out. So from the center of your mat, we're just going to come down, make our way down to the floor. This is the power in the legs that you've worked with today. So just take your feet a little wider than hip width, hands to the hips. And then when you're ready, you're just going to slowly start to bend your knees and you're going to start to lower down into a little squat. So don't worry if the heels lift as you come down, maybe taking the hands to heart center and then slowly dropping the heels down, start to lengthen the spine down. Nice, hips are nice and open. Maybe if your bottom doesn't come down or the heels don't come down, don't worry, we're almost there. And then slowly releasing, make your way over onto your bottom. Sitting into a nice easy seat, sitting up nice and tall. Hands resting on the thighs or the knees, spine is long, close down your eyes. Feel the sensations through your legs and the heat you've cultivated with your practice. Allow the breath to slow and smooth out. Relax the shoulders. Breathe deep. Ending our practice. Keeping the eyes closed, take your hands to your heart center, thumbs point back toward the heart. Just bowing the forehead toward the fingers. Ending our practice. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and keep your eyes peeled for new videos. Bye.
We are, wanna be a little stronger.